So the KPA Dockers won the game against the Stormers, and this game was so lopsided. To be honest, it didn't even make any sense to watch this game at the second half because of how KPA literally just took apart this Stormers team. So the Stormers team, they had that walkover against the Gladiators because of a kit issue, which was it was laughable. I don't know what they were doing, going to a basketball tournament without the proper uniform attire. So that's the issue. So KPA went ahead and just stamped their authority, and there was no resistance in this game. And even the final score tally, 94-41, just told the whole thing. And there was no stopping KPA's dominance. And in KPA's Group A, I don't think there's any resistance any other team can offer. So apart from APR, all the other teams, I don't think they have a chance to be able to go ahead and uh, pose a threat to KPA, and there's a high likelihood KPA might even make it past the semis if they're able to beat either APR or REG, because the whole qualification runs through these three teams. So we have APR, REG, and KPA in the running for it. So yeah, this might be that year KPA is able to break through easily and not meet an Egyptian team in the qualification process. And this might be it. So the Stormers team were not ready for this game at all, and statistically everything just showed there was no weak spot coming from the KPA side. Everything was working on all cylinders, and even going by the numbers, it just tells you everything that you need to know. So in this game, KPA dominated all through from start to finish, and they shot 48% from the field, and they were 32% from downtown. At least majority of the shots went in, but I can say that they were able to get their shots because of the poor defense and the poor offense from the Stormers team. I don't think the Stormers were ready for KPA in this one, and that's why they got beat by a lot of points. They got beat by 53 points, so that's crazy. So that and the fact that KPA understand how to beat teams that are inferior to them, similar to what we've been seeing in the KBF games. Of course, any team that doesn't know how to play good defense and they make a lot of mistakes, KPA is there to go ahead and take advantage of that. So all the key stats and the key metrics, KPA dominated at that, even the advanced stats. So the whole game was KPA's to win, and there was nothing stopping them at that point. Even the shot selection, even with KPA not being able to maximize on a lot of shots, they were able to not only take apart the Stormers team, but at least they were able to attempt some few shots from three. And even in the box score, when I was watching it live and when I was checking out the stat sheet real time, you could see there were a couple of changes in the lineup. So Aminata, she played heavy minutes. Alima Dombia, she played heavy minutes, and they were very productive. Aminata, in 23 minutes of play, she was 5 of 9, 13 points, and she had 4 assists and 5 steals, a rare 5 steals. So this was the productivity that KPA needed, especially at the point guard position. And Natalie did not start this game, and she barely played a single minute. She only played 6 minutes, and she was not somebody that you could rely on, especially at the point guard position. And Aminata was there, and she started. Alima Dombia, she was there in 22 minutes of play. She was 8 of 16, 17 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. So very, very good play indeed. And also their new signing, Aminata Lee, 23 minutes of play, 16 points, 50% shooting from the field, and 14 boards. She had a double-double of her own, 5 steals, 2 blocks, and 3 assists. So she was all over the place in this one. And Masi Wanyama, she had a dud game in there. But having Aminata Lee, Aminata, and Alima being the focal point, and also Betty Kanan was there, and also Ifunanya, she was there as well in the action. about 5 players having double-digit scoring, and also not only on the scores but also on the steals, being having active hands on the steals, having 28 steals in the whole for the team the whole game. That was the difference. Even with the poor shooting from downtown, which I must say, at least Betty, she tried. She was 3 of 9, but man, it was a tough one. I mean, after she was able to sink three pointers out of her 6 attempts, which was 50%. So this was good, not bad at all. At least the team was able to get some reps to shoot the 3 ball. We have not been able to see this from very strong opposition. When KPA faces strong opposition, they find it very difficult to be able to get a rhythm when they going on offense, and when they rely heavily on defense and they're not able to convert on offense, the other team is able to capitalize on that easily. So at least there were changes in the starting lineup. I was happy to see some players being able to be given minutes and showcase their productivity. Even with the kind of opposition they had, there was that having that win and moving to the next game, being able to uh, have that win under your belt. And even the game they're going to play today against the Gladiators is going to be the same script all over. I don't think they're going to showcase any weak spot in there, and it's going to be one of those games that they're going to win, similar to what we've seen against the Foxes and the Stormers. So yeah, it is what it is. So this was a very, very good performance indeed. I must say I have to give credit to KPA because at least they're able to go ahead and dominate. Unlike the ZTEC Sparks, who even with inferior competition like the first game against the Les Hippos, I don't want to say they are that inferior, but ZTEC couldn't get the job done, and a lot of excuses have been flying around. And the beauty about KPA's win, it kind of rubs off like the poor performance that we saw from ZTEC in the first game against REG. It just it gives a happy ending to the game day. So I mean, it is what it is. So it was a very good performance from KPA. I must say, give full credit to them. At least they're able to grab and get up 2-0 and be on the collision course against APR, because the main threat that KPA have right now in Group A is APR. And with the whole WBLA qualifiers being centered around these 3 teams, APR, REG, and KPA, it's going to be one interesting finals or semi-finals to see who's going to make it to the finals. Will it be Kenya versus Rwanda, or will it be an all Rwandan affair? Because both REG and APR are on collision course to be the leaders of Group A and Group B. But if KP are able to go ahead and upset APR and able to right the mistakes of yesteryears and be able to go ahead and improve their game and trust the players who can be able to produce on the roster, that is so important. Because I was happy to see Aminata start at the point guard position, and also Aminata Lee lead the charge at the front court. I mean, the productivity there was good. And Masiwanyama, she had a dud game. Natalie, she had a dud game as well. I was happy to see her not in the starting lineup and coming off the bench, because her productivity is not as great. And having your coach not even trust you with even an inferior team speaks volumes, because if the quote-unquote top players who play for our national teams are not able to represent the club that they play for, even in their weak game, do you think the coaching staff will even be able to allow them to play heavy minutes in a matchup against, let's say, APR, which is happening tomorrow, or even REG if they meet in the semis or finals? I mean, that is the thing. So the game against the Gladiators, I don't think it's going to be that difficult for KPA. I don't think the Gladiators are going to pose any significant threat like that, because the only team that KPA must be able to get ready for and not get too caught up in the moment is APR. Because even the first 2 games that they've played, they have not played teams that have the ability to be able to challenge them. It's been cruise control all through. But when push comes to shove, like what we saw last year in the WBLA qualifiers in Zanzibar, we saw APR push KPA to the edge, and APR were able to get 2 wins on KPA. And the most important game that KPA had to play was that in the third place game that they needed to go ahead and win it, but they didn't win it and they got blown out for the second time in the tournament. So will KPA be able to elevate their game to be able to beat APR, because that's the only team that is in their way? But if you look at the APR roster and if you look at KPA's roster, what do you think what will happen? Because if you look at the recruitment strategies that APR have employed, you'll see that they have made sure to get the top quality talent in the continent, and they've used the top players in the AfroBaskets to beef up their roster, similar to what you've seen with REG. And looking at APR, they are going to be the biggest test, and them retaining some players in the roster that played last year and also having added new additions is the difference right now. So will KPA be able to dominate in the Gladiators game today? Absolutely. I don't think they're going to go up 3-0, and this is the type of momentum that they need to be able to go ahead and play a team like APR, because they need every single win they can get to be able to get it, to be able to make it to the semis. And yeah, there's a high likelihood if they're able to play their cards right, they might make it to the finals. If they meet a weak team in the semis, finals it is. But I'm not holding my breath on that. But the full credit goes to KPA. They trusted some of the players that are on the roster that have quality, and they have left some players who didn't have a good game. Even in the first game that they played, which they won, didn't have a good performance at all. So it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comments section, what you think about this. I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.